The next one that we have got, it is going to be Japan versus France. Now these two sides, we've seen them play a little bit more recently than some of these other sides that I am talking about for international level. Japan, they're coming off a successful series and beating Uruguay twice in a row. And from the Japanese domestic competition, we have seen some stars starting to rise up. Yes, there are internationals in there, but we have seen a few homegrown Japanese players doing pretty nicely for themselves as well. 3 players that I have decided to highlight for this contest. Michael Leach, first of all, a huge amount of experience for that man. He is always dangerous, and with so much experience, you also gain that wisdom side of things. And I know that it sounds like I'm starting to get philosophical here, but wisdom, it's a pretty handy thing to have out on the rugby field. So hopefully we do get to see him pass on some of that wisdom to some of the younger Japanese players. The next name that I have got there, it is Iosaya Fafita. He is a dangerous individual out on the wing. He's got the size and the strength to be able to cause any defender problems, although he's going to be marking up with Damien Penaud in this match. And he is actually one of the names that I've got for France, because those two, they might be having a bit of a try-scoring contest between themselves out on that wing. Then the last name that I have got for Japan is Ryohei Yamanaka. He has been impressive in the last little while, found himself some quite nice form. It's just whether or not France can find those tactical kicks that could cause him a little bit of strife. But if they can't, I think he'll be running the ball back quite nicely. He's got a decent kick of his own, and he always chases his kicks hard. So that is why I've got him on there. But looking at France now, they are the Six Nations 2021 champions, recently being able to add that to their arsenal, and they haven't lost since July 2021, currently on an 8-match winning streak. Some of the opposition that they have beaten since that winning streak started, you've got the likes of New Zealand, Ireland, England, Argentina, and Scotland. So some very tough opponents for France, but I would say their 2 biggest wins on that list was certainly when they were able to beat Ireland in the Six Nations, 30 points to 24 in France, and then they were able to beat New Zealand by about 20 points in the Autumn Internationals. But looking through at the key players for France, I have got Pietro Malvaca, and that man, anytime I hear his name, it's normally because he's making either a line break or a massive hit on a member of the opposition. He's just a tank in the front row. He has been one of those key players for France for quite some time, and he's also going to be there for the 2023 World Cup. And that is if he hasn't got an injury, I should mention. If he does, it would be a big shame, as I think he will be able to be one of the keys for them in that World Cup as well. Then the next name I have got, it is Charles Olivon. We saw him in the Barbarians match up against England, and he seemed like he could have gone the full 80 minutes. He was very fit, he was very physical, scoring himself a try as well. So he might be able to do the same in this game up against Japan. And the last name that I have got for my French side, as you know, it is Damien Penaud. He has been impressive anytime he plays at international level. I believe he's got some insane try-scoring record. How he seems to, no matter what the game is, be able to cross the try line, which is a very handy skill to have as a winger. Definitely when you've got those guys on the inside, like the French backline. For Remy Vakatawa, he is one to watch out for, but he isn't there on my list because I'm only allowed to pick 3. Unfortunately, that was the rule I gave myself. But now, because of that, we are up to this stage of trying to predict who will be able to win this match. Now, for me, I think this one should be relatively one-sided, but I think Japan are still going to put up a decent fight. But for me, France end up winning this game, and I believe France are going to win it by, I'll go 17. It's a bit harsh on Japan, but I think France are in a really good space at the moment for their rugby and should be able to tear it up out there on the park.